Hello everyone, this is part 6 of What If Naruto Was the King of Gambling, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Naru-kun, what are you doing here this late? Anko asked with a raised eyebrow as Naruto stood outside her door at midnight. I'm not allowed to sleep in my bed and the couch is really messing up my N. Can I sleep here for a couple of nights? I don't know. I'll require rent, Anko said with a sly smile. Naruto started but was interrupted by Anko grabbing his coat and pulling him into her apartment. You look tired, Naruto, Sarutobi said as Naruto stood half awake in front of his desk. I didn't get much sleep last night, that's all. I see, Sarutobi said with a nod. Anyway, I have a mission for you and Anko. An A-rank mission. A rank. What's the mission? A Jinchuriki, the Nibi Jinchuriki, has requested our aid, Sarutobi said and handed over a file. Naruto opened the file and saw a picture of a blonde girl who looked to be around 17. Her name is Yugito. She's a Kumo nin who wants to join Konoha, though because no one trusts her, she gets a 7-man escort on every mission, Junins. So, you want us to go find her, the escort and bring her back? Naruto asked, getting a nod from Sarutobi. That's right. Go tell Anko and leave as soon as possible. Hi, Naruto said and puffed out of the office. Naruto appeared at Anko's apartment and went in. One thing he'd learned about Anko is to never just puff into her apartment, unless you want to get a kunai where no man has gone before. Anko, where are you? We have a mission, he shouted as he walked through the hallway. Anko stuck her head out of the bathroom. What? We have a mission. A rank. Anko nodded and came out of the bathroom without her coat on. I've never thought about asking you this, but why do you only have a net shirt under your coat? Not that I don't like it, but why? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow, getting a smile from Anko as she grabbed her coat. To distract my enemy. So, what's the mission? We gotta track down a girl, her escort and bring her back here. Unharmed. Yes. Damn, Anko said with a pout. How large is her escort? According to Sarutobi sensei, 7 junins. Great, Anko said with a grin. Let's go. You got everything? Naruto held up a green scroll. All sealed up. Good, Anko said and left with Naruto. Once they were 15 miles away from Konoha and Anko had been properly briefed, she and Naruto sat down on a log. So, where are we to meet this Jinchuriki girl? According to the file, 13 miles to the west of Wave. She is on a mission to assassinate the Wave Daimyo. Oh hell no. Naruto said and got up. I'm ready to go now, how about you? You seem kinda slow. Don't push your luck, stamina god, Anko said and got up. I'm sure I can easily beat you anytime. Bulls, Naruto said with a grin and started running with Anko close behind. 15 minutes later they arrived at the rendezvous point. Naruto was only panting slightly while Anko was panting heavily. Your stamina is incredibly annoying, Anko said, making Naruto grin. That's not what you said last night, he said with a sing-song voice. Anko could only blush. Well, we have 10 minutes until rendezvous, Anko said, staring up at the sun. We should get into our positions. Naruto took out a card and a pen. I have an idea, he said and started writing on the card before placing it on the ground. Now we get into our positions. 10 minutes later Naruto and Anko were hiding in the bushes on either side of the road. Just a few seconds later they heard steps. Yugito came walking on the road with 3 junins behind her, 1 junins on either side and 2 junins in front of her. One of the junins in the front stopped and bent over to pick up something on the road. What the hell is this? He asked as he held up a card. There's something on it. Jump. Yugito's eyes widened and she immediately jumped into the air as about 50 kunais came flying through the bushes, hitting one of the junins while the others jumped away. Naruto and Anko jumped out of the bushes and landed in front of Yugito while the junins landed 20 feet away. Go to Konoha, Yugito-san. We'll catch up later, Naruto said, staring at the Junins. Anko-chan, I'll take the 3 on the right, he said, and took out a deck of cards. You do that. I'll take the 3 on the left, Anko said, and shot out with her hands. Senone Jashu. Snakes shot out of Anko's sleeves and headed for the Junin farthest to the right. Naruto ran up and drop-kicked the Junin in the middle of his 3. Then he took out 3 cards and pumped them full of wind chakra before throwing them at the Junin to the right. The Junin ducked under the cards and swiped at the airborne Naruto with a kunai. Naruto took out his own kunai and blocked the swipe as he landed before jumping away. Anko, he shouted, and took out a deck of cards. Anko turned around and saw what he was about to do and jumped away while Naruto tossed the cards into the air before performing a couple of hand seals. Ninpu, Amno Goju Karuta, Naruto shouted, freezing the cards in the air. They floated in the air as they were filled with fire chakra. Yareni, he said with a smile as the cards flew towards the Junins. 2 of them managed to jump away while the other 4 weren't so lucky. They were blown to smithereens. As soon as Junin 1 landed, he found himself involved in a fierce taijutsu battle with Naruto while the other pulled his sword and charged at Anko, who took out a kunai to defend herself. Naruto and Junin 1 exchanged a couple of blows for a while before Naruto scored an uppercut to the Junin 1's jaw. He turned around just in time to see the other Junin knocking away Anko's kunai and attempt to slash at her. He thought with wide eyes and crouched down while taking a card out of his sleeve and tossing it at Junin 2. The card looked like it flew in slow motion. Junin 2, who was running towards Anko, was just about to set down his right foot when the card slashed through his Achilles tendon. Naruto smiled when he saw Junin 2 fall, but the smile faded when he felt a piercing pain in his back. Turning around, he saw that Junin 1 had espered him with a kunai. You bastard! Naruto shouted and took out a scroll and unsealed his brand new steel bow staff. He grabbed it and slammed it into Junin 1's head, sending him flying while Anko espered the downed Junin 2 in the heart. Naruto ran up to Junin 1 and drove it into his stomach before doing a helmet breaker on the man, effectively breaking his skull. Naruto pulled the kunai out of his back with a groan while Anko walked up to him. Naruto, she asked as Naruto laid on the ground with his eyes closed. A US. Yes, Naruto said and got up. But that's not gonna stop me. When Yugito was about 20 miles away from Konoha, Naruto and Anko caught up to her. Yo, Yugito-san, Naruto said with a grin. We're your escort to Konoha. I'm Namikaze Naruto and this is Mitarashi Anko. Thank you. I am. Ni Yugito. Kumo-chunin. We know, Anko said while Naruto looked back and sighed. Oh, man. There's a hole in my coat. They ran for a little longer before getting to the gates of Konoha. Good work, you two, Sarutobi said as Naruto, Anko and Yugito were in the Hokage's office. Now, Naruto, I doubt that you'd want to wear a chunin vest, right? Damn right, Naruto said with a nod. Good, Sarutobi said and handed over a paper. Less work for me. That's to make your promotion to chunin official. It's to make sure you're ready to take responsibility of leading a squad, blah blah blah, legal crap. Naruto smiled at Sarutobi's hate for paperwork and signed the paper. Congratulations, Naruto, chunin of Konoha, Sarutobi said with a grin. This feels really good, Naruto said, puffing out his chest with pride. This is where there should be a lemon, but I just can't seem to get it to fit in here. Later, Naruto and Anko sat in their beloved dango shop eating and getting drunk. Anko, Naruto said, staring up at the sky. Anko asked, her mouth too filled with dango to be able to properly respond. I've been thinking. Oh no, that can't be good. Let's move in together, Naruto said, making Anko go wide-eyed. What? Let's move in together? We practically live together, anyway, Naruto said and took a sip of his sake. He was going to look at Anko for some kind of reaction, but was knocked off the bench they were sitting on when he was suddenly glomped by said snake user. I'd love to, Anko said while planting kisses on every piece of skin on Naruto's face. I've been thinking some more, Naruto said 5 minutes later when they sat on the bench again. And what's on your mind this time? Anko asked. Naruto's answer made Anko laugh. We've brought a whole new meaning to the phrase, student-teacher relationship, Naruto said and got up while Anko choked on her dango. I have an appointment with my bears. Oh yeah. Which ones? Kamo, Tsunade, Chu, Hanan, Cap. Tsunade Sama. You know Tsunade of the legendary Sannin. Anko said, and Naruto shook his head. No. Tsunade is a bear. She sucks so much at gambling, so she was named after that Tsunade, he said and turned to leave. You wanna join me? No thanks, Anko said with a glare. It's useless to play against you. I know, Naruto said with a grin and left in a swirl of cards. He's mixed the leaf shunshin with cards, Anko thought as Naruto disappeared. An hour later, a drunk Naruto was sitting in what was now his and Anko's apartment with his bears in front of him, equally drunk, except for Chu and Han who'd already left. Hey, Kamo, Naruto said sitting on the floor with the cigar-smoking grizzly half asleep in front of him. About those 300 you owe me. Naruto said making Cap immediately sober up and stare at Kamo with wide eyes. What about them? When are you gonna pay me back? When you stop being an ass. Kamo said just before his back suffered from Cap landing on it. What? Cap shouted with a balpine hammer in hand. What did you just say? Kamo stared at the cuddly, now terrifying bear with wide eyes before reaching into his pocket with a trembling hand. Nothin', Cap. I just said that I'd pay him back, he said and took out his wallet before throwing it over to Naruto. Take out your 300, please. Naruto smiled and took out his money before throwing the wallet back to Kamo, who put it back into his pocket before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Thanks, Cap, Naruto said with a grin that the polar bear mimicked. No problem, bro. I love to make Kamo sweat. You just come to me if you ever have a hard time collecting his debts. I will, Naruto said and got up. Well, I guess I'll better go grab a cup of coffee, then I have to train. See ya, Cap. See ya, bro. Cap said and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto sighed and went to the kitchen to pour himself a cup of coffee. Meanwhile, Mai was sitting in Naruto's apartment. Naruto-kun hasn't come home in a while. As if reading her thoughts, fate appeared in front of her sister. They've moved in together, she shouted with glee. They've moved in together and you can do nothing about it. What? Mai asked with wide eyes. But I wanted to, damn, she muttered and lowered her head in defeat. Then she looked up. But I'm not gonna give up that easily. Damn, fate muttered as she disappeared again. I didn't manage to fully break her spirit. Naruto walked down the streets of Konoha when he thought of something. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about Mai, he thought and disappeared in a swirl of cards. Mai sat in the living room, thinking of ways to steal Naruto away from Anko, when the boy in question suddenly appeared in front of her. Yo, Mai, I just came by to tell you that you can have my apartment and that I'm moving in with Anko. I'll pay the next rent so you can work up the money for next month and so on, Naruto said and stopped when he was glomped by Mai. Mai had come to the conclusion that the only way to get Naruto was by resorting to the thing she despised to do. Begging. Please don't leave, she begged into his chest as they laid on the floor. What? Naruto asked with wide eyes. I don't want you to leave me. Mai said quietly and looked straight into Naruto's eyes. You're the only reason I came to this village in the first place. But, Mai, Naruto said, still staring at the woman as if she was crazy. I'm dating Anko, if you hadn't noticed, he said and Mai shook her head. I don't mind sharing. I don't think Anko would either. Naruto was about to answer when a knock was heard on the door. Happy to have an excuse, he left Mai on the floor to go open the door. Woo, rhymes. Jiraiya was standing outside the apartment with a grin on his face. Yo, Hisashiburi da ne, Naruto. He exclaimed, making Naruto go wide-eyed. Ero Sennin, what are you doing here? Jiraiya smiled. We've got a mission. Sarutobi-sensei wants us to go find my old teammate, Tsunade. I thought that since I was here, we might as well train a little while we're at it. So, you ready to go? What? Right now, Jiraiya said with a nod. Fine, I'll be right back, Naruto said and closed the door, leaving Jiraiya waiting outside. Naruto headed into the living room where Mai was waiting. I got a mission. We'll talk when I get back, okay? Mai sighed. Okay. Oh, can you find Anko and tell her that I'm going on a mission? Sure, Mai said quickly, making Naruto raise an eyebrow. Why do I feel that I've just gotten myself into a world of trouble? On the way towards the closest town, Naruto looked at Jiraiya. So, what are you gonna train me in? I'm gonna teach you the Yondaim's creation, the Rasengan. Jiraiya said, making Naruto go wide-eyed. Ah, really? Cool. Naruto exclaimed with a grin. So, when do we start? Right now. Jiraiya said and tossed Naruto a filled water balloon. You need to pop that. Naruto stared at the water balloon before squeezing it, making it pop. Jiraiya sighed and smacked his forehead. Using only your chakra, you idiot. You need to rotate the water. He shouted and tossed the blonde another balloon. Then why didn't you just say so? Naruto asked with a glare and stared at the balloon before rotating the water with his chakra. Why won't you pop? Naruto roared at the balloon as they 1 hour later were in the lodging town that Naruto recognized as the place where he met Mai. Here, let me show you. Jiraiya said and took out another balloon. He started rotating the water, only his balloon started getting huge bumps in it. The bumps grew bigger and bigger until the balloon popped. There. Did you see what I did? Naruto stared with a hand on his chin. You rotated the water, but you didn't do it the way I did it. Did you rotate it in several directions? Good. Jiraiya said with a smile. Try it. Naruto held up his balloon before rotating the water. While it rotated, he added more and more chakra swirls to the water, causing the same kind of bumps that were on Jiraiya's to appear on his balloon. It popped shortly after. Nice. Jiraiya said with a grin. Now, let's get out of town before we proceed to the next step. Once outside the town, Jiraiya tossed Naruto a rubber ball. This step is 100 times harder than the first step. It's about power. Put as much chakra as you can into it until it pops. Naruto stared at the rubber ball before focusing on pushing as much chakra as possible into it. 3 things happened. 1. The ball exploded. 2. Naruto flew away. 3. Jiraiya pissed his pants. Boy, am I glad that I decided to teach you this outside of town. Jiraiya said after he changed to his spare pair of pants. But, I guess you got that down fast enough. Now it's time for the last part. Jiraiya said and handed Naruto another water balloon, only this one was filled with air. The first step was rotation, the second was power. Now, you need to mix the two and create a steady sphere inside the balloon without popping it. Oi. Ero-senin, was the Yondaime a childish person? Kinda, why? Balloons. Yeah, well, they're round. I guess he thought that they were perfect for this technique. I'm not really sure why he used balloons. Jiraiya said, scratching his head in thought while Naruto started forming his Rasengan. Practice while we walk. Naruto had real trouble. No matter how much he tried, he just couldn't form the Rasengan into a perfect ball shape. Then he thought of something. Wait a minute. He shouted and took a card out of his pocket and placing it in his hand. What are you doing, brat? Jiraiya asked as Naruto concentrated, making the card float about 3 inches above his palm. I'm using the same principle as the kunai balancing exercise. I'm going to use this card as a measurement for how big the Rasengan should be, he said and started spinning the card in all directions. Keep the center at the same point all the time. That'll form a perfect ball. Jiraiya said with a grin as they got near the town Jiraiya had been told soon it was in. Hey, look, Naruto said as he started forming a Rasengan, using the card to form it into a ball. Good, Jiraiya said with a smile. Now, retain it, create a shell of chakra around it to stop the chakra from leaking out. Naruto closed his eyes and added a thin layer of chakra over the ball before opening his eyes to see a perfect Rasengan, just like the ones Jiraiya had done so many times before. Good, really good, Jiraiya exclaimed, clapping his hands. I was actually hoping it would take you a little longer. I don't want you begging me for training. Naruto just huffed and dispelled the Rasengan before heading into the town. He turned his head a little and whispered, just loud enough for Jiraiya to hear. It's actually the least you could do for your students, son, he said, making Jiraiya go wide-eyed. What? You know, I do now. Toki, an expression one might say if caught lying, pranking or doing something, raises hand and puts pinky finger against the corner of mouth evil. By the way, it wasn't really hard to figure it out. I mean, take away my whisker marks and I'll look exactly like a young Yondaime. By the way, what was his name? Jiraiya sighed. Minato. Namikaze Minato. Damn you brat. I promised him that I wouldn't tell you about your heritage until you made Chunin, he said, making Naruto stare at him. Ero Sennin. I am a Chunin, Naruto said with a sweet drop. Jiraiya just stood there staring at Naruto. You are. Well then, it's about time I told you about who your father was, he said as if he hadn't already told the blonde. Your father was Namikaze Minato, Yondaime Hokage and my pupil. You should know that he didn't want to seal the QB in you, but he couldn't just ask somebody else to give up the child when he had one of his own. Your mother was Uzumaki Kushina, Junin and former citizen of Azu no Kuni, land of Whirlpool. I'm afraid that she might think of you as a demon. She left right after the sealing. Naruto listened to Jiraiya, wide-eyed. His mother was alive. She thought he was a demon. Cheese comes in a can. Nah, he didn't really think that. I just thought I'd liven the mood a little. Hey, hey. So, you teaching me all those years. It wasn't just a favor for Sarutobi-sensei, was it? He asked, and Jiraiya shook his head. No, Minato wanted me to teach you, though I didn't even know that you'd survived the sealing until Sarutobi-sensei called for me. Is that so? Yep. Then I guess I shouldn't hold a grudge against you, Naruto said and grinned. Just as long as you teach me my dad's techniques. You got yourself a deal, Jiraiya said with an identical grin. So, Naruto said as they walked through the town. How are we gonna find Tsunade? Jiraiya grinned. I bet you $50 that you can't find her. Ha! Naruto laughed with a grin. Prepare to pay up, old man, he shouted and started running with Jiraiya following. Tsunade is a gambler and a drinker. There are no casinos in this town, so she must be in one of the bars. But which one? Naruto thought as he ran down the street. He stopped when he saw, not one bar, but two bars. One on each side of the road. He smiled and took out a coin. Heads, I'll take the right one, he thought and flipped the coin into the air before catching it and placing it on the back of his hand. Heads, right it is, Naruto mumbled and turned to Jiraiya. Hey, Ero Sennin, let's try in here. Once inside, they saw a blonde woman with huge BS sitting across from her assistant, the same two women who were at the poker tournament. There she is, Jiraiya exclaimed and walked over to the table, sitting down next to Tsunade while Naruto sat down next to her assistant. Jiraiya, Tsunade asked with a raised eyebrow, staring at the toad hermit. What are you doing here? We came to find you, Jiraiya said with a grin and was about to keep talking when someone poked him on the shoulder. Looking towards the source, he found himself staring into an open hand with the words, "Pay up, sucker," tattooed on it. Oh yeah, he said and handed over the $50 he owed Naruto. By the way, Tsunade, this is my apprentice-to-be. Naruto, Tsunade said staring at the blonde. We've met. What's wrong, old lady? Naruto asked with a grin. Upset that I won all your money. Ah, Tsunade's assistant shouted, only now recognizing the boy. You're that blonde from the tournament. Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, Chunin of Konoha and future Rokudaime Hokage, at your service, Naruto said with a grin and held out his hand. And who might you be? I'm Shizune, Shizune said with a smile and shook Naruto's hand while Tsunade stared at him with wide eyes. Nami, Kase, she whispered and looked at Jiraiya who nodded with a grin. That's part of the reason I wanted Naruto to come with me on this mission, he said and placed a hand on Tsunade's shoulder. Our grandson is alive, Tsunade. Naruto heard these words and became wide-eyed. G. Grandon, he asked, getting a happy nod from Jiraiya. Yeah, I didn't want to let you know until Tsunade was with us, and Jiraiya said and saw in slow motion how Naruto's fist slowly inched its way towards his nose, where it connected with a crunch. The punch was soon accompanied by a kick to the chin, sending his face hurtling towards the hard, unforgiving floor. You old bastard, Naruto shouted and grabbed Jiraiya's collar. You knew that I was your grandson, yet you didn't tell me until now. Naruto was about to continue his beating of the Toad Sage but suddenly found himself wrapped in a bone-crushing hug, courtesy of the slug Sannin. You're alive, Tsunade shouted as Naruto struggled to breathe. I thought you'd SD. I can't believe this. We have so much to catch up on. Tsunade, Jiraiya said, now standing, as if he'd never even seen Naruto's incoming fist before. Naruto can't breathe. We're finally reunited with our grandson, who we thought was S, and now you try to K him. Once Tsunade had wiped the tears out of her eyes and let him go, both Naruto and Tsunade glared at Jiraiya. Why wasn't I informed until now? They both asked in unison with an identical aura of death swooning over them, making Jiraiya sweat. Because of Minato. Jiraiya said. If Naruto had been informed about us, he'd want to know who his parents were. I promised Minato that I wouldn't tell him about his heritage until he made Chunin, which he did only recently. And you're lucky we were even sent out on this mission. Jiraiya said, making Tsunade raise an eyebrow. What do you mean? Sarutobi-sensei is retiring. You've been selected as Hokage. What? I was originally asked to take the position, but I'm not suited for it. You're much smarter than me and much better with the whole political mumbo-jumbo. So, will you take the Hokage position? Jiraiya asked, making Tsunade go wide-eyed. Naruto, who'd just come to terms with something, quickly ran up to Tsunade. I just thought of something. If you take the Hokage position, I'll be related to not just the first, second or fourth Hokage. I'd be related to the fifth Hokage as well. And I'm the apprentice of one of the third. I'm born to be Hokage. But if you don't, I'll never forgive you, he said, making Tsunade stare at him while Jiraiya suppressed a grin. Blackmail? Huh. Nice, Naruto. But, I'm not suited to be Hokage. Tsunade said, making Naruto smirk. Then how about we play a game of 5-card poker? No draws. We play what we have. If I win, you'll take the position of Hokage. If you win, I'll give you everything I've ever won. Jiraiya and Shizune were frozen on the spot as the grandmother and grandson were staring each other down. Finally, Tsunade smirked. Fine. But if you win, I'll also give you this, she said and pointed at the N-lace hanging from her N. Even if I win, I'll still go to Konoha, but I won't take the Hokage position. Fine by me, Naruto said with a grin and sat down. Ero Gigi, he said and turned to the hermit who got a tick appearing on his forehead. Can you be the dealer? Jiraiya sighed and took out a deck of cards from his jacket. He shuffled them and dealt the cards, sweet up. Tsunade, 7 of hearts. Naruto, King of diamonds. Tsunade, 2 of hearts. Naruto, Ace of clubs. Tsunade, King of hearts. Naruto, King of spades. Tsunade, Jack of hearts. Naruto, Ace of diamond. Tsunade, 9 of hearts. Tsunade had a flush and Naruto had 2 pairs with 1 card to go. Jiraiya gulped and dealt the last card, slowly. Ace of spades. Yes, Naruto exclaimed with a grin. You're coming with us, Bar-chan. Normally, Tsunade would break the skull of anyone who'd dare call her Bar-chan. But Naruto was her grandson, so he was entitled of calling her Bar-chan. I guess that's true, Tsunade said and took off her N-lace before hanging it around Naruto's N. Grow up into a good man and a great Hokage. I will, Naruto said with a grin. I promise you that. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.